All right, Raptor fans, what is going on? I'm here once again with another video. This is your host, Toronto Yardy here, back again. And I wanted to make a separate video about this topic. All right. So last night, it was an embarrassing loss for the Toronto Raptors, getting blown out. No fight, no compete, nothing. Raptors didn't even bother showing up in the second half. The first half was okay, although they were down by double digits, around like 14 or so. They cut it down to 9 point. Siakam did much of the scoring last night for the Raptors, leading all scorers with 17. Awful night for guys like Barnes, who was a minus, geez, I think he was like a minus 20 something, 28, I heard. A lot of people were in the minus. OG Anunoby was a minus a lot, right? And during the game last night, certain things that I didn't really talk about in my post game reaction because that game was so embarrassing. Uh, to me, I thought, if I try to drag out that post game reaction, it was going to be too much for me. So I said, okay, there was something that happened last night. And what happened? Boston Celtics. Let's give credit where credit is due. Yes, they are a good team. Raptors are nowhere on the level of the Boston Celtics right now. Nowhere. And it's so easy to see that right now because the way the Boston Celtics are structured, it makes me think that this team is just built different. And yet, they have not won a championship since 2008. Makes you kind of wonder, well, how come this team that has so many great, talent players can't get it done? 2021, uh, you know, or is it 2022? I'm trying to remember who they uh who they played again. Anyways, so what happened last night? Fourth quarter, the Celtics were up 27 points. Okay, Darko said, "All right, I'm gonna rest my starters, put in my bench players in." I'm trying to believe who was on the court during that time. Thaddeus Young, Malachi Flynn, Jalen McDaniels. I believe Garrett Temple was on the court, or I don't know who was on the court. And with Boston up 27 points, Joe Mazulla, the coach of the Celtics, had some of his starters in. Jason Tatum was still in there. I believe Jalen Brown was still in on the court, and a couple of his bench players. Now, what the concern was and what the problem was is up 27. A ball, or the not the ball, the ball was thrown out of bounds. And what does Joe Mazzulla do? You guess it. Calls timeout to challenge the out of bounds call. Up 27 points with 3 minutes and I believe that 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining left in the fourth quarter, people. Okay. So this is where I'm gonna do a little rant and maybe, well, I don't really want to cuss a little, but look here. There is, to me, if there's a unwritten rule or there is no unwritten rule about this challenge that Joe the Clown Mazzulla did should be embarrassing on his behalf and on Boston's side as well. Now, I see people going around saying, look, maybe the Raptors didn't put themselves being down by so much during the first 3 quarters, and well, not the first 3 quarters, well, the third quarter and right into the fourth quarter, where that third quarter the game got out of hand. The game was out of reach for the Raptors, where they were trying to crawl back, and it was a little bit too late. I see people are saying, hey, the coach did nothing wrong. The Raptors shouldn't be down by so many, because Dennis Schroeder came out and said that Joe Mazzulla disrespected the game for challenging that out of bounds call. And if you watch the video, or if you watched the game last night, the Raptors bench, some of them, they were not all of them were clear. This is the coaches and the players that were on the court. And on the other side, you had Joe Mazzulla and his Celtics coaches, uh, you know, arguing. So both of them were arguing back and forth. Joe Mazzulla and Darko were arguing back and forth, right? And this is just probably the build up to Friday's in season tournament game between these two teams, right? A lot of heated argument going back and forth, because Dennis Schroeder was saying, why are you challenging a out of bounds call when your team is up by 27? That's, if I believe that's correct, 3 minutes left in the game. Okay. And I don't know. Is this something that maybe the NBA should have a new rule? And I was there thinking about it last night. I'm like, okay, so your team is up by 30, almost 30 points. Maybe the NBA should have a rule with saying, well, if your team is up by 20 or more with 5 minutes left to go in the game, or less than 5 minutes, I should say, maybe around 3 minutes left to go in the game. If your team is up by 20 plus points, and your coach is gonna challenge some out of bounds play or some other play, maybe the NBA should assist a technical foul on the team and give the other team a free throw. I, I don't know. Maybe just looking at that, maybe it looks kind of silly and maybe it doesn't make sense. But I can't take away that, yes, you gotta give the Raptors some, uh I don't know if you want to say benefit of the doubt, that they put themselves in that predicament. All right. And if it is an unwritten rule about, you know, challenging a out of bounds call with your team up 27 points, I feel like this is wrong. Me personally, it's just wrong. Other people are gonna say, "Oh, well, this and that," and uh, there's one person that I made a comment on, on a video, and they were saying to me, "Oh, you're soft. You're soft." Like, how does that make me soft? I don't understand. So it's, to me, it's just kind of shameful. It shouldn't not have been done, and this is the reason why I like stuff like this. This is why I hate with a passion. I hate, cannot stand Boston sports. All right. This is like, here's an example of the most clown move ever by this um, Joe Mazulla guy, a coach that I've heard he doesn't like calling timeouts. Go figure. Now, going back to this, to that game last night, and to that particular play of the out of bounds challenge, I saw a comment that Joe Mazulla is not the one to be blamed for this, um, for this timeout challenge. Apparently, one of his Boston players, Pritchard, yes, Pritchard, the Raptor killer who's been killing the Raptors since over the couple of years with his three ball shooting. Apparently, he was the one that told Missoula to challenge the out of bounds call. So if this is Pritchard's um, fault, or I don't know if it's really a fault. Sometimes the words I'm looking for, I can't really think right now. But if this is his um saying that, hey coach, yeah, hey, uh, we're up by 27 3 minutes ago. The Raptors ain't doing nothing. They're too soft. Just like Patrick Beverly said, the Raptors are too soft. Um, challenge the challenge that. They ain't gonna do nothing. It's Toronto. Toronto's a soft team. Toronto's a soft city. Toronto is this. Toronto is, a laughing stock. So, yeah, Pritchard, you're a punk. If that was you telling your coach to do that. And another thing, this is, I'm just saying here, if I was the official in a game like this, I like, this is just me, okay? If I see the team challenging a call with up 30 or whatever, with less than 2 minutes left to go, I will just say to myself and calling my other employees, the other officials, and said, "Is this really necessary? Should we really go to a review?" I'll be like, "No, no, I ain't doing that. I am not doing that." All right. I would have said, "Look, just play on whatever. If it's out of bounds, it's out of bounds. It's your team ball, the other team ball. Who cares? Let's keep the game going." Just wasting time. All right. It, to me, is just wasting time. Get the game over. The game was pretty much over in the third quarter. All right. So Darko, I like what Darko did. Step up, for his players. Came on the court, you know, kind of. Well, he didn't really yell at Joe Mazzulla. He's talking to him. Joe Mazzulla was talking back and being held by the refs. Darko was being held by the refs and the coaches. You can see Dennis Schroeder also. As I said, he was the one that said that Joe Mazzulla kind of disrespected the game like that. And this whole unwritten rule about certain uh things in the NBA and in sports, like, oh, if your team is up by big and you're trying to run up the score, uh Yeah, those things are gonna happen, right? I even remember a game. I remember probably a lot of you Raptor fans out there remember that Toronto Indiana game in Indiana where the Pacers blowed out the Raptors, and Lance Stevens went for a dunk at the end of the game, which and DeMar DeRozan was on the team, and I believe PJ Tucker was on that team. Yes, PJ Tucker was on that team, and they got in a little scrum. Lance Stevens walked away, and but as a fan, I I just thought this was just a game last night where it got away for the Raptors. They should have, tried to compete a little bit more, put up a little bit more fight against the Boston Celtics, because knowing that these two teams are going to meet in the in-season tournament on Friday, that's that win for the Boston Celtics was just uh, a message, right? And I hope the Raptors took that message and prepare themselves if they want to compete for this trophy that will be played in Las Vegas next month. Okay, so that's gonna do it for this video here. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day, and I will talk to you after Monday's night game against the Washington Wizards. Peace.